This is a cardiovascular history-taking OSCE and involves a 75-year-old patient who's had 2 significant episodes of myocardial ischemia and has a number of risk factors for coronary artery disease. He takes some cardiac medications. We'd expect the student to get a history of the episodes of ischemia that the patient suffered and be able to describe the symptoms and decide whether they're typical of myocardial ischemia or not. He needs to get a history of the patient's risk factors and how well they're managed at the moment, and give us an idea what the patient's current exercise tolerance is like.
Hello, my name is Alexander. Thank you very much for doing this OSCE with me.
It's a pleasure.
Now, I hear you've been having some cardiac problems in the past.
I've had a few, yes.
Okay. So when did you first start having ischemic chest pain surgery?
The first one was in 2003.
Mm-hmm. And what were your...
Symptoms?
Yeah.
I was been lading tyres in a boot of a car, packets of tyres, and they're pretty heavy. Yeah. And I probably shouldn't have been doing that, but I was reaching into the car with them, and I got them all loaded, and I was feeling a bit tired, a bit strange, so I got in the car to drive home. I started to get some pains, but I knew I was in trouble because they were deep in the chest.
Yep. They
weren't just muscle pains. And then I started to get a bit hot, and I didn't feel too good. And as luck happened, I was driving past right near my GP. Mm-hmm. So I parked outside and went inside, and the girl the nurse behind the counter, she said, "Are you all right, mate?" She said, "Yeah, I don't look too good." And I said, "Well, I feel great," and I just keeled over, bang.
An impressive way to enter your GP surgery, certainly.
That's how you get to the top of the queue.
So, can you describe the nature of the chest pains?
Well, it was sort of throbbing with the heart, but it was deep and it was sort of cutting right across the chest, and fairly sharp.
Did the pain go anywhere?
No, it just stayed there. It didn't go anywhere, but I felt pretty hot and started to get a bit tight in the chest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how bad would the pain be? 10 being the worst pain ever?
Would have been up around about an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
so
pretty,
really,
yeah.
Did it start on an 8 and continue that, or get?
No, it started off probably about a 6 when I first came in, and I thought muscle pain to start with. Then I realised it wasn't just on the outside; it was deep inside the chest. So I thought, no, this is not good. This shouldn't be in there.
So after you, so when you say you keeled over, did you faint?
Yeah, I fainted. I passed out, and
So you don't remember hitting the ground?
Well, she caught me actually, the nurse.
Okay.
Very caring lady.
And they called you an ambulance?
Yeah, they took me in. The doc checked me over straight away, make sure I was everything. They called the ambulance, and I went out of there on a trolley and straight up to the general emergency.
And so they then gave you a diagnosis of...
So they gave me a diagnosis, gave me some ECGs and did some testing, and then they put me on some, I can't think of the word, the one they put under your tongue.
Nitrates.
Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. Put me on all that.
Yeah.
And some tablets for the cholesterol and all that, yeah.
And so then they discharged you and you were fine?
They just had to take it easy for a while, and then I was right for probably another 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And then I was playing golf one day and I started to feel pretty off colour. And boys I was playing with said, "You better go home, mate, you don't look too good." And I said, "No, I'll be right."
You were winning at that point, I'm guessing.
Something like that. And but I sort of, always wanted to be the hero, stay out there, I'll be right. But I was starting to feel pretty hot, and the chest was getting a bit tight. Anyway, I finished the game of golf, and I didn't stay for the club. I went home. I only lived just down the road from the club. And then I had a couple of drinks of water, and I had a cold shower because I was still feeling pretty hot. And I still felt hot, and the chest was getting very tight. And I thought, this isn't really good. The pulse was starting to throb a bit, race a bit. So I thought, no, so I rang the ambulance, and they came and put me straight in, and I went straight out to emergency again, intensive care, and Adam Cannon was a surgeon, the heart surgeon, and he came in and they gave me some ECGs, and we just had a look at it, and he said I had to get some stents a stent put in, because I had 80% blockage in one of the arteries.
Do you know which one it was?
No, I don't.
That's okay. So what year was that in?
That was 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you described having some chest tightness while you were playing golf.
Yeah.
Did you have any pain at all?
Not really, no, it wasn't really that painful, no. Just tight and
So, but apart from the not having pain, it was similar to your other event in 2003?
yeah. Yeah, except it wasn't a deep sharp pain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, without that.
And so you felt sweaty?
I felt sweaty
again.
and I just couldn't cool down. I thought I'd have a cold shower when I got home, you know, because this was in Townsville, it's a lot warmer up there.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd have a cold shower and I'd probably feel better, but it didn't work that way. I still felt hot, so I thought this isn't right. So that's when I decided to ring the ambulance. And I got in a big trouble because my daughter's a cardiac nurse and she wasn't impressed.
No, right. Well, no. At least you called the ambulance rather than
Yeah.
soldiering on.
Oh yeah. I thought I'd trusted my luck long enough, you know.
You described having a racing pulse. So did you take your own pulse, or did you feel your heart racing?
No, I just felt on there. I could feel it really pulsing. Yeah.
Okay. And
I actually could feel the heart a bit too. Yeah, that's why I checked that one. Yeah.
Okay. And have you had any events since then?
No, not really. No, because I've kept on my medication, and I stick to that pretty carefully because I don't want a third one.
Yes. No.
Two's
Certainly
enough.
not.
I got away with two, so I've stretched the luck a bit yet.
And you said they put a stent in.
Yeah, it was down,
Just
yeah.
one.
Just one.
Okay. And now I'll just talk about kind of generally your health for a moment. Do you have any other medical conditions?
I've got asbestos in the lungs, and I've got all cholesterol, and that's all part of the heart thing.
Yep.
I had one bout of gout years ago, and haven't had any since then. But I'm still on the medication for that.
How's your blood pressure?
Pretty good at the moment because I stay with my tablets.
Okay.
Normally I get it taken quite a bit at the university and with my doctor I take, and it's usually around 120 on 60
Excellent.
or
That is good
125 on
news.
70, so yeah, around that mark.
No,
Pulse rate's normally about 50.
so a bit slow, but
Pretty good. Oh, it was good, yeah.
it's
Well,
good.
Vary between 50 and 60.
do you have any allergies?
No allergies at all, no.
Have you had any surgeries in the past apart from your valvular?
Appendicitis, years and years ago. That was back in 1948.
And so you had your
Oh,
appendix.
sorry. No, before that. Yeah, about 1942 or something.
1942.
Yeah.
So you had your appendix out for that.
Yep, took that out, yeah.
Any other surgeries?
No, I've had a couple of sunspots cut out.
Yep.
And some on the head. And the only thing I think I got asbestos, that's all.
And how's that being
That's
managed?
good. I've got a good respiratory doctor. And I take Spiriva and the puffer. And he checks me every 6 months.
And how does that affect your health?
It stops me from doing too much exercise. I run in a puff.
Okay.
Get very short-winded.
And did you notice that you were getting more short of breath around these kind of times when you had your heart attacks?
Yeah, I did, yeah. That could have been because I think they said I had the asbestos for about 30 years, but only sprang up a few years back.
All right, then.
It takes a long while to develop, they tell me, and that could have been part of the heart thing. Could have been making me short of breath.
Okie dokie. And what medications are you on?
Quite a few. I can give you a list if you like. I can't remember what they are. Because I never remember which ones I take.
Well, it's always good to carry a list around.
I think.
I encourage all my patients to do that.
So I can see what I'm doing. Yeah. There you go. That's the ones there.
So we have your cancertin, which controls your blood pressure.
Yep.
So you here it says you're on esomeprazole, which is also known as for reflux disease.
Yeah.
So do you?
I usually get quite a bit of that, and since I've been on that, it's been pretty good.
Okay, so when you have, it's different from the feelings that you get when you had your heart attacks.
Oh yeah.
So can you describe what it's like when you have your reflux?
It just sort of get like a cramp, just here, sort of cramps up there. It's very tight.
Right,
I
okay.
got to rub that, and I give a couple of good burps, and it's gone.
And everything's fine.
Yeah.
Great.
It's good. It gets like a real cramp in the side.
And tell me about your any family history of heart disease at all?
No one. I'm the only.
Do you have any children?
3.
And how old are they?
Scott's the eldest. Scott's 55.
And they're all in good health?
They're all in good health. and I got nine grandkids. Oh, sorry, 7 grandkids.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And they're all good.
Now, have you ever smoked?
Yes.
And do you still smoke?
No, haven't smoked since '88.
That is good.
Yeah.
And before you quit, how many years did you smoke for?
Oh, I smoked from probably, I don't know, about 40 years, I suppose. Yeah.
And when you were smoking, how many cigarettes were you smoking a day?
Too many, probably about 25, 30 a day.
Okay.
A bit more, yeah. I used to drive a lot and just sort of smoke as you drive, you know.
Mm. And so why did you quit?
Because I saw the doctor, I think I was getting a bit short of breath,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, she did an X-ray, and she said, you've got the start of emphysema.
And
And she said to me, like, take a deep breath, and I did. She said, take another one, but don't breathe out. And I couldn't do it. She said, that'll be you in 10 years if you want to keep smoking. So that convinced me.
And what about alcohol?
I've had a drink since 2000.
So you're a non-drinker.
That was right, yep.
All right.
Because my doctor said to me, didn't ever think you'd see my liver back to normal. But it is.
Stop there. Okay. All right, well done. I wonder if you'd summarise this patient's cardiovascular history for me.
Yes, this is a 75-year-old man with a previous history of 2 cardiac events, one in 2003 and one in 2007, both diagnosed as heart attacks. In 2003, he noticed that he had quite severe chest pain after exertion, which only got worse. He presented to his GP, who then sent him on to hospital, where they successfully reduced his pain and discharged him. In 2007, again after exercise, he felt chest tightness and palpitations, and he presented he called an ambulance and presented to hospital, where he was then stented. I'm not sure which artery, unfortunately. This is on a background of hypercholesterolemia and high blood pressure. He is a has a 60-pack year history of smoking, but he quit in 1988, and as he's a non-drinker. He has no cardiac family history of note, and his relevant medical history for chest tightness and pain includes a diagnosis of emphysema and asbestosis.
Perhaps you might describe what were the parametics of his symptoms that were suggestive or typical of ischemic.
Yes, he described in the first instance having a kind of a crushing central chest pain, as well as being sweaty and kind of feeling quite worried. And in his second instance, he felt more of a tightness across the chest, along with palpitations again, the sweaty and feeling hot.
Was there any radiation of the symptoms?
No, he did not have any.
And what's he like now?
He seems to be in quite good health. He was alert and talking, and didn't seem short of breath while talking at all.
What about his exercise tolerance?
He says that he's able to manage a flight of stairs quite easily, but after that he starts to get a bit short of breath and needs to stop and recover.
And do you think that his risk factors are under good control now?
Given that his blood pressure is currently around 120 systolic, and that he's now a non-smoker and a non-drinker, and he's on medication for both his blood pressure and cholesterol, I'm quite happy that it's all under control. He hasn't had any angina-like symptoms since 2007, so I'm quite...
And did you notice on these list of medications whether he takes any antiplatelet treatment?
Yes, he's currently on clopidogrel for his stent.
Good. All right, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. This was a well-taken history. It was slightly disorganised in parts, but he certainly got all the important features of the history from the patient and was able to describe to me what the patient's symptoms were like. He came to grips with the patient's risk factors and understood what was happening with the patient's current exercise tolerance and his current cardiac medications. This was a good pass. and a better student might have been able to assemble the risk factors a little bit more succinctly, but on the whole, an above average effort.